the people that they owe over longer terms, and chase harder to collect money. And I know that those last 2 points are incompatible, because if everybody's trying to scratch their creditors, then one of those creditors is likely to be you, and you at the same time are trying to collect your money. So it just can't work in the long run. But nevertheless, 29% of micro businesses and 46% of small and medium businesses have been trying to do it that way. Then a good chunk, 43% of medium and small and 29% of micro businesses have been cutting costs. And that's probably where I think sometimes you think it's the easiest option. Certainly it's the first place to address, to try and make these ends meet in the middle. So cutting costs. Limited growth, so that's where I suggest that people are choosing not to take some opportunities that are afforded to them. So when you're running your business, there might be an opportunity to buy a competitor who's retiring or going out of business, to buy a piece of plant that might open up a second product line or a new product line. People are choosing not to do that, but to expand organically more slowly. Second last point shows that 12% of small and medium businesses, 15% of micro businesses have raised equity finance. So that's the Dragon's Den sort of scenario. They've gone to somebody with a chunk of money and said, I'll give you part ownership of my business in return for you investing a chunk of money which will help me to expand and or to get through this growth period that I want to get through. A pleasant surprise that it's as high as that, especially for the micro businesses, because that's often a sort of last resort, that where somebody owns their own business, they're very reluctant to give up even a part of that. But as I think Duncan Bannatyne likes to say on Dragon's Den, do you want to own 100% of something that big, or 50% of something that big? And that's often a decision that has to be made when you're looking at inviting new equity finance in. And then the last one right at the end, cut back on services or products. So sort of the same as limiting growth, but it's actually contracting, cutting off one part of an operation. So the third last and the final column is all about slowing your business down, putting the brakes on, and managing through that way. As an accountant, I always think that finance is the root of everything. And so we asked our businesses, how reliant is the future growth of your business on being able to raise new debt finance? So you need money. How reliant are you on getting money in to be able to really grow the way you want to grow? And we've got 3 segments to look at here. So again on the left, the small and medium businesses said that they were slightly reliant, that's 13%, if you can see that. There was 30% that were very reliant on raising new finance. And then the cell at the bottom, no, it's another bar chart. We're having a third one. So it's just those 2 charts. 30% were very reliant, 13% slightly reliant, and then for the micro businesses, 18% very reliant, and 12% slightly reliant. So this is the one that's going to have 3 charts. Has your main finance lender tried to change your arrangements in the previous 12 months? There's been a lot of stories coming out in the newspapers and on television reporting about the credit crunch, saying that banks are being mean, they're really putting a stranglehold on, they're trying to change things, charge more. And we said to our survey, what's your bank done in the last 12 months? And these were the 3 sort of different types of areas of response. Yes, they've tried to change our terms, they've tried to reduce our facility, they've tried to cancel our facility. In other words, giving more than just a clear hint that they'd like to move you to move to a different bank. They've really said you need to go. The percentages are from the bottom 5, 13 and 30. So that's 48% of small and medium businesses have had their main lenders, their main sources of finance, trying to change things in the last 12 months. And for micro businesses, not much of a better situation. 27% trying to change, have things trying to change. 10% trying to have a reduction pushed on them, and 4% have suffered the push out of the door. So, this is where I think we'll ask you just to take a couple of minutes to have a look at the survey, which should now have been received on your various devices. One hasn't. Elaine, can you just check if she's standing?
I wasn't standing. I didn't stand my car.
You'll be excused. We'll find some other way of getting your information.
I don't think I have either.
Sorry?
I don't think I have it either.
Were you standing when you came in?
We'll have to send us stuff later, unfortunately. Is that correct?
What can we do? Get round the time? Can we send it later?
Yeah, we will do that.
Right. Okay, for those of you who haven't been able to get it, we'll get it to your devices in some other way. I'll be repeating this tomorrow, so if you are being able to reply before, 10 o'clock tomorrow, then we'll be able to include your responses in tomorrow's survey. That'd be great. So thanks very much. Now, where are we? Do I need to cover this one off before you can take the other surveys, or can we do the two?
You can do it.
Right, here's one that I'm going to ask you right now. I talked about those responses in our questionnaire, having been asked if they could accommodate some changes. So I want to ask you, first of all, question one. Has your bank suggested, as an alternative, that you look at invoice financing or factoring? And that's a simple yes, no. One for yes, two for no. Okay, let's take a cut and see how we're doing there. I have found myself that banks are starting to push that a little bit more. I hear from our members that their clients are getting asked to perhaps put their invoicing through a factoring process. We'll look at it in a short while. It basically means a top slice is taken off, but it enhances your cash flow. And 26.1% of you have already had that experience, and 40 about 3/4 have escaped that just yet. Typically, they're looking for turnover in the region of £200,000 per annum, but not all businesses, of course, will lend themselves to invoice discounting. If it's more of a retail situation that you're in, then obviously it doesn't work at all. Okay, let's move on from there. So this is the second one I wanted to find out whether any of you have had your banks suggest that perhaps if it's HSBC that you talk to, Forward Trust or Mercantile Credit, most banks have a sort of business on the side that looks at asset finance, and banks might suggest that rather than take a loan from them or increase your overdraft for some sort of asset finance, that you speak to their associated business and take out lease or HP agreements. That makes it a bit easier for the bank because it's somebody else who's giving that finance, even though it's all part of Oak Diamond's new umbrella. So let's see how you escaped or not, whether you've been asked to go to one of the bank's associated businesses for asset finance. Again, one for yes, two for no. Okay, let's close that off and see what the response is. All right, now that's a much lower figure than I was expecting. Very interesting. Gird your loins and prepare for it, unless you're already deciding you're not going to acquire any new assets that might lead to such a conversation. All right, so that's where we were.